What's up, everyone? All right, so in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the scanners that I use every single day while I'm day trading. Now, scanners are very important. These are where you find stocks that are moving. So what I did, probably different from most people, is I hired a development team to build out my own set of custom scanners. And I've been using these now for a long time, as many of you already know. So I'm gonna walk you through each of those scanners right now in this episode. But I also want you to know that my team is constantly working on building out new scanners at my request. I'll say, hey, I really am looking for whatever. Right now I'm looking for a scanner that focuses primarily on recent IPOs, de-SPAC type of companies, because those have been particularly strong. So we've got that scanner right now that's in development that I'm working on. So if you're watching this weeks or months from now, there may be some variations. There may be some new scanners that have been added to my library of scans. But one of the things that I learned as I was starting trading was that all of my winners, for the most part, share similar characteristics in terms of the actual stock, in terms of price, float, volume. There's a number of characteristics that they all share. And so if I can find a stock that is meeting most of those characteristics before it's gone, made its entire move, that's what I really need to be seeing. Those are the type of alerts that I look for. So I've built out these scanners to look for those types of stocks. Many of you guys know these scanners I've made available to Warrior Pro members over at Warrior Trading. These scanners are also available for members over at Day Trade Dash. So if you want to check out either Warrior Trading or Day Trade Dash, there'll be links right down in the description. I'll probably pin one to the comments so you can check it out. And for those that are curious, if you have more questions, leave them down below. Or if you have suggestions of scanners that you'd like to see me build out, leave those below as well. I can add them to the list, and I think it's interesting, then I'll have my team work on it. So thanks for watching this episode. I hope you really enjoy it. And as always, if you do, please hit the thumbs up. It makes a huge difference for the channel. All right, so let's jump in and start talking about these scanners. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through the stock scanners that I use every single day. This is a tool that I hired a development team to build for me. I use this every day in my trading, and I built it to make it available to members at Warrior Trading and members of Day Trade Dash. So these scanners, I'm gonna walk you through the different scanners that are available right now. We are constantly adding to the library of scanners, and we're also from time to time making tweaks to improve scanners. This is a little different than perhaps software you've used in the past, in that I've actually developed each of these scanners to look for very specific types of setups. And I find this to be more helpful for me, because when something pops up on the scanner, I know exactly whether or not it's worth looking at, number one. And then number two, as a member using this software, I think it's helpful for you because you don't have to try to sort of re-engineer, like, how does he develop the scanner and try to piece it together yourself. You could just literally plug and play and use the scanner exactly as I use it every single day. So this is basically the way I have it when I first log in, which you can see here. It's fairly focused on small cap stocks. And of course, that's the strategy that I'm trading every day. So like right now, Surge is hitting the scanner. Now, we'd actually have to make the scanner either make it a little bit bigger or scroll it over to see the exact alert that it's hitting. It's low float former Momo stock. And so these are the different strategies that are all built into this alert window. You see medium float, high relative volume, squeeze alert. I'm going to walk you through what each one of these is looking for specifically. But this is the scanning window that I use the most frequently to find stocks that are good candidates for momentum. All right. So from the tools section over in the corner, you can click on scanners, and the first item is stock quote right here. Now the stock quote is actually this window that I have in the middle, and this allows you to type in a stock like I did for Apple, or you could type in another one, and you can quickly see some information about the stock. Probably the most helpful one is float. All right, so you could check the float and you can see whether or not this is a float that you're interested in. So sometimes someone will mention a stock and they'll say, hey, check out KSPN. And I'm like, oh, I don't see it on my scanners. So one of the first things I'm curious about is, what's the float? Float's 1.6 million shares. Okay, now I know that information is relevant. I understand what float is. Of course, if you're watching this and you're not clear on what float is, I can put some links down in the description of this video where you can better understand some of the terminology. But as an active trader, I understand the importance of float. And so now I might be more interested in KSPN. Although I would also ask myself, well, it's clearly not meeting the criteria to hit this high day momentum scanner, at least not right now at this moment. And so that must say something about what's going on with the stock. So there's basically two types of scanners that are part of this platform. There's scanners that are a list, which is like our top gainers after hours. This is a list of stocks, and it's sorted, as you can see right here. You could sort it differently if you'd prefer. You could sort it by price, you could sort by volume, you could sort by float. You can sort however you want. Let's see, I've got two combined in there. But the way I usually do it is I leave it sorted by percentage change from the close. And so after hours, yesterday, for instance, we had this really big move on HSDT and APDN. So at 4 p.m., I was watching this after hours list. Of course, a lot of the stocks that were on this were still hitting the high day momentum scanner. They were still moving higher, but this gives you a list. So if I close out a couple of these, and this is our newsroom, so I'll close this out here. So we'll start by going over the lists. So my top gappers is a list. This is a list of all of the stocks gapping, as you can see here, more than 7%, gapping up more than 7%, and gapping down more than 7%. This is helpful for me because it shows me the biggest moves in the market. So I sort this by gapper initially, percentage gapper. Then you see the symbol. You can click on the symbol if you want to read the news about it. And so if we click on this, on Warrior, it'll come over to the Warrior website where we can see different headlines right down here. All right, so we can see what the news is right there. Breaking news is posted in the newsroom. So this is like breaking news headline. It'll get posted here likely before it even hits the website. So this is breaking news, whereas clicking here this is where you'll see like, oh, they had earnings posted yesterday or something like that. Something that's very, very obvious, whatever it is. So we've got the symbol, then we have the price, we have the volume, which is the number of shares traded today. We have the float. Now I color float and prioritize lower float stocks because we know lower float stocks are the ones that can make really big moves. So we have from lowest float, and then it kind of goes into a gradient as the float gets higher. And as we get to the highest float, I sort of lose interest in it completely. I'm just like, nah, these really aren't the type of stocks I'm particularly interested in. I know I'm rarely going to trade, a 700 million share float stock. So you could sort this every day by float. I think the two ways that are helpful is to sort it by volume, to just check to see where's the volume this morning, and then to sort it by gap. We also have columns here for relative volume. This is very important. As many of you know, I'm a big advocate of trading stocks with high relative volume. So highest relative volume today is on PSTX. If we refer to the chart on this, we'll see PSTX has made this really pretty phenomenal move from 350 up to 550, has news, so it's moving higher. We've got relative volume in the last 5 minutes. Now this is an interesting one because this is helpful for seeing volume spiking up and moving right now. It's a little different than daily relative volume because it's just showing you in this current time frame how quickly it's moving. We've got the change from the close, the ATR rate, average true range. We've got short interest, short ratio, and we can scroll over and there's going to be some more columns here that you can look at if you're interested. But in the effort of keeping this relatively concise, I think I want to go over two other lists. Generally speaking, these lists are they're all going to have the same, pretty much the same criteria here. You've got top gainers. This is again sorted by percentage gain. You've got symbol, price, volume, float, relative volume, volume on the 5, gap, how much it gapped up, short interest, short ratio. All right, now if we switch over to the next one down, we've got top relative volume. All right, so top relative volume is giving us our relative volume leaders today. So these are the stocks with the highest relative volume right now. We, of course, like these. These are the stocks generally that we're going to be focusing on, making quick moves, high relative volume, go hand in hand. All right, volatility. Then we've got top RSI. This is a bit more of a reversal list, but it's showing you the stocks that have the highest and the lowest RSI over the last 5 minutes. These can be good for reversal indicators, so worth watching these if you're a reversal trader specifically, if you like shorting tops and buying lows. Top volume in the last 5 minutes. This is showing you the stocks with the highest volume in the last 5 minutes. This can be helpful for finding current volume spikes, what's moving right now, although I typically would use my high day momentum scanner for that. We also have top losers. All right, so we've got the top gainers and then we've got the top losers side by side. I'll rearrange this here. I'll put this up here. I'll move this one over here. So top gainers, top losers. All right. And let's see, top gainers, top losers, top RSI, top relative volume, top volume in the last 5 minutes. And we had after hours gainers, which I think I already showed you. That's right here. So this starts working at 4 p.m. This doesn't work. So right now it's showing you, it says not today, it's showing you yesterday's after hours. It doesn't work during regular trading hours. It is just an after hours scanner. I've got my continuation scanner. So the continuation scanner, this is an interesting one because this is specifically giving you a list of stocks that have made big moves in the last 2 weeks. And this is a great list to go through just to look for momentum stocks. Some of these could be setting up for a daily breakout, a bull flag, a flat top breakout, maybe a reversal. So usually these stocks are worth keeping an eye on as part of building out sort of your daily watch list. And then we've got a couple others that we're working on. They're still in development. One of them that I'm working on but hasn't been, it's in beta, hasn't been released to everyone yet, is recent top IPO stocks moving. This is one that many of you will enjoy because we've had a lot of momentum on recent IPO stocks. PGY, that was a recent IPO stock, right? HKD, recent IPO stock. So that's one of the ones that'll be coming soon. It's going to be a top list of recent IPOs that are moving higher, right? Okay, so this is these are all of the the top stocks, and the list goes down. It might be might even be 100 stocks on some of these lists, at least 50. So you've got a pretty good list, probably more than you need, but again, it gives you something to work with as you're putting together your daily watch list. All right, so I'm gonna X out of these, close them up. Okay, so we're back to top gappers, and I'll switch to sorting by percentage gap. All right, so now let's look at, okay, so we looked at the lists here. We've got a couple more lists. We have, let's see, penny top gappers. So this is a top gapper specifically for penny stocks, lower price stocks. All right, so we'll go down, 10 cent, 12, 13 cent stocks, really cheap ones, but we'll show up to $3, $4, $5. So we do show slightly higher price, but more of traditional penny stocks, which I typically don't trade. Then we have large cap top gappers. So these are large cap stocks. So you'll see stocks with larger market caps on here, PayPal, Tupperware, etc. And then you have large cap with earnings. So these are large caps that are gapping up that have had earnings, and this gives you the report date of when the earnings were. So earnings within, I believe it's 48 hours. So we're either right before or right after earnings or something very, very close to earnings. And then I believe, yep, those are, that is, oh, and then the last one is a list of stocks getting halted. This is, I suppose, actually not technically a list. This is the first scanner that is an alert. So this gives you a timestamp of the alert, and it's telling you a stock that was halted. So stocks that are halted appear here on this list, so you can see, oh, the stock is halted. Maybe it's worth taking a look at. HKD is halted, coming down. Okay, HSDT, this one is halted as well, coming down. That's pretty dramatic. Earlier we had KSPN halted going up. So you've got some halts on here. This can be helpful just for keeping an eye on what's moving. Now, the next set of scanners I want to go over are my small cap high day momentum scanners. So this is an alert style as well. So these are scanners that are giving you an alert with a timestamp of when a stock meets certain criteria. And you can see KSPN was lighting up the scanner. It was actually hitting multiple scanners all at the same time. Low float, high relative volume scanner. So low float and high relative volume. That's what we're looking for. Priced under $20. So a stock with a lower float and very high relative volume moving right now, price under 20. We have low float former Momo stock that this is also hitting, which means this is a stock that in the past has made a big move, and you can see right back here that big move. Now, when I'm scanning for low float former Momo stock, the scanners are a little bit different because low float former Momo stocks, when they pick up, they can start moving really quickly. And so for that reason, I want to see them a little sooner than maybe your ordinary stock. So some of the filters are adjusted a little bit so I can see whether or not this is something that, so I can see it quicker, so I can see it faster. I don't do that for every type of stock because otherwise you start getting a lot of false alerts. And I don't want false alerts, I want good quality alerts. So, and then the other scanner that it's hitting is squeeze up alert, up 10% in 10 minutes. That's valid. Squeezing up, moving fast right now. I like to see those stocks because if they're moving quickly, it may be something worth watching. Now you can see that costs actually hit the low float former Momo stock, but only hit it once. It triggered it once, which might have been an opportunity to pull it up and take a look. And you probably see, it doesn't have a lot of volume, just sort of popped up. Probably not going to trade it. So a stock hitting scanners more and more times is definitely a good indicator that it's got some momentum and it's worth watching. Some of the other scanners in here in this window, we've got squeeze up alert up 5% in 5 minutes. So that's kind of like a pre-alert for something possibly that will go up 10% in 10 minutes, but it's just moving faster on the 5% in 5 minutes. So we have a little bit of a pre-alert there. Usually if something just blows right through, it's going to trigger the other one. KSPN is hitting the scans again up there at 5. Let's see, we've got medium float, high relative volume, price under 20. Usually when you have a stock that's under $20 and it has a medium float, you're gonna have high degree of algorithmic trading. It's gonna be more of a grinder. It's not usually something I'm gonna really look at for momentum trading. But a medium float that's under 20 that has really, really high relative volume, it can be worth looking at, as you can see with PSTX, right? PSTX, the float is a little higher, but it did make a nice move. So it was worth watching. KSPN moving just a smidge higher there, up to 520, which is good. So we've got medium float, high relative volume, price under 20. PSTX was hitting that one earlier. We have, let's see, go a little further down. All right, so I'll refer to my list over here. We've got the different scanners in this low float, medium relative volume. Low float but medium relative volume, those can be alerts that are worth looking at. We prefer higher relative volume, but maybe you're just we're seeing and getting alerted to the stock early in the move and it's just starting to take off. So looking for more relative volume to come in. Low float, high relative volume, that's the one where we're going to usually see big momentum type of stocks, watching that closely. Low float, high relative volume, price over 20. Higher price, these ones can have bigger spreads. They can be a little bit choppier, are worth watching with the high relative volume, but manage your risk. Low float, former Momo stock, already showed you that one. Medium float, medium relative volume, price 20 and up. Again, sometimes you can have one that's a little bit higher price, medium relative volume, but with the higher price, starts to open up a little bit. Not my favorite scanner, not one that I would typically put the audio alerts on. So I only have the audio alerts enabled for low float and squeezing up 10% in 10 minutes. The others, I don't use audio alerts for. I don't find them important enough that I want to get an audio alert for it. So medium float, high relative volume, price 20 and up. Medium float, high relative volume, price under 20. Squeeze up 10%, 10 minutes. Squeeze up 5% in 5 minutes. And then 52-week breakout. So 52-week breakout is high of year, high of the last 52 weeks. That can be helpful. Some traders would take profit at 52-week highs. Some short sellers would cover. Other short sellers will come in. So you can just simply have volatility at 52-week highs. It can sometimes indicate that it could be a blue sky setup. Blue sky is all-time highs, but it's not a guarantee of that because, of course, blue sky can just be 52-week highs can just be something that's at 52-week highs but has been selling off for like 10 years. So it's not going to be a blue sky setup in that case. There are some alert style scanners for the large cap room here. So large cap has high day momentum scanner as well, similar to the one that we have here. Also has, let's see, the reversal scanner right here. So this reversal scanner, you can see we've got PayPal on here. So here we've got a number of different types of alerts we're looking at. Consecutive 5-minute candles, bottom reversal, candle outside Bollinger Bands. All of these indicate a stock that's getting to extremes and could be due for a reversal. The more consecutive candles you have, usually I feel the better. So I like to see high number of consecutive candles, and then we look at that for a possible reversal. So PayPal on the 5-minute is showing whatever it was, 7 consecutive candles. So selling off here. So this is the type of setup that maybe you would look at for a reversal coming back up. You know, maybe yes, maybe no, but depend, of course, on your strategy. So these are all reversal based. Top reversals mean you're going to look to short off the top. Bottom reversals mean you're looking to buy off the low. So a number of reversal scanners here with some slightly different filters to try to help you find confirmation, looking for the most extreme reversal examples. Generally, the more extreme, the better, because this just helps give you that added confirmation. So inside the reversal scanner, you've got several scans, and that can also be used in combination with top RSI scanner for those looking for reversals. Okay, so with that, I think I've given you a good walkthrough of the scanners that are currently in production. I hope you found that helpful, and as always, reach out with questions. I hope you really enjoyed that video, and make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Our goal is to hit 1 million subscribers this year, but we won't get there without your help. So please, please, please hit that subscribe button.